Hello and welcome to the Blackdog episode number 314. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And we don't have Elton this week because he phoned me up with his best I can't come into work today voice.
Right.
And he said he had a note from his mum and he wasn't allowed to come out. So
what was his excuse? Did he say, "Oh, I can't come on. I've got hot arms"? Or,
yeah. He's got
a dragon attacked my rhubarb.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got sort of like a lung condition from sweeping up all the ash. Yeah, you know, because obviously dragons feed on ash. I was
going to say, because he could have just got a dragon in, that would have sorted it out for him. Wouldn't need a dustpan and brush or anything.
No, they just would have
been great.
Yeah, they just would have eaten the ash and just been done with it. No, but he isn't here. He's got a migraine. He's off sick. I mean, you know, I didn't think to ask him whether or not he actually did watch the film. Right. I mean, he gave me a review, which I'll tell you a bit later on. But I'll be honest with you, doesn't sound convincing. Mm-hmm. Does sound like someone's read the wiki on the way home, if I'm honest. Anyway, now we've thrown Elton clean under the bus. Welcome to the pre-episode 200 lineup of Lee, Darren, and Jim, Blackdog.
Time travel.
Woo! Yeah, exactly. No,
like the good old days.
We'll get round to the shitty time travel series in due course. Don't worry. Yeah, so this week we'll be seeing how everyone's week is. Well, maybe we'll make up something for Elton, and then what we'll do is we will be reviewing this week's film, which is Reign of Fire, aka Sir not appearing in this picture. But anyway, we'll get round to that.
If Prince had been in it, it could have been Purple Reign of Fire. No.
No.
Okay, nothing on that.
No, nothing for that. Nothing. Not even a. Is this on? Nothing.
If Gene Kelly had been in it, he could have been singing in the Reign of Fire.
Oh, for God! No, I'm not pressing the button. Neither of you have done enough to earn this button. You have not earned the button yet.
And if Christian Bale had like a cystitis infection, and it could have been Pain of Fire.
Oh, for God's sakes. No. Just no. No.
And if it had been like, you know, Monopoly with the board being all aflame, it could have been Game of Fire.
There you go. You're happy now.
I've got to put my sunglasses on. I am. I should have had my sunglasses on with that, though.
Oh, for God's sakes. You guys. Really? Yeah.
So, because of the quality of this film, are we calling it Lame of Fire?
Yeah. Window pane of fire. Anyway. Right. Well. Anyway. So we're gonna get on with that film soon enough. Oh God. Anyway, let's find out how everyone's week's been. Jim, how's your week been?
It's not been too bad actually. I had a much-deserved few days off over the chocolate mass holidays.
Yes, indeed.
And I went to go and see my occasional co-host Odile Thomas and her husband Carl and their family of Hamimals.
Oh yes,
in the fair city of Birmingham.
Nice.
And we had a rather jolly time. However,
here we go. Go on. Yes.
A little travel review section for you.
Yep.
We'd booked to go to have some Sunday lunch at an establishment in the fine city of Birmingham called The Alchemists, which is does food and it does posh cocktails like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first, we were told that lunch was all booked up and we could only book for brunch.
Right. Meaning what? That you just you don't.
Well, we had
call
a table
it lunch?
from 11 till 1, so why that wasn't counted by lunch, I don't know. But my hackles were first raised when I learnt that they'd asked for a £5 deposit per head.
Right.
Now, I've eaten at some very fancy restaurants, being an international man of mystery, and paying a deposit for a table at a restaurant, booking a table, yes, paying a deposit,
not exactly classy.
Not standard practice. And considering this is just a jumped-up pub, for Christ's sake, I thought that was taking the piss at £5 per head. So you lay out 30 quid. But the thing was, they'd only keep the table for 15 minutes. Then you lost the deposit.
Oh, right. And
yes.
So what were you going to do? Just sort of walk in there and just walk in there, eat in 15 minutes and leave? Or even just try and turn up in 15 minutes? Or what?
Well, if you're 15 minutes late, bye-bye, no table, and you've lost your deposit.
For God's sakes.
Yes.
Wow.
Classy.
Exactly.
So let me get this straight. You went out for lunch that turned into brunch, but then you kind of got a bad feeling because you had a hunch.
God's
it gets worse.
sakes. What is wrong with you? Are you on Punageddon?
I don't know.
If you've got painkillers, Darren, you might need them for this story.
Go on. Okay.
Go on.
Hold on.
Firstly, we ordered some drinks, and I had a Long Island tea cocktail, which came in a big glass with bubbling smoke coming out, which I liked, obviously.
Yes.
However, I would say it was mainly Coca-Cola and not the mix of 4 spirits a Long Island cocktail should be.
Okay.
I ordered Eggs Benedict. It was served to me on a slate.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Allow me. Oh, sod off, bloody Iceland, you stupid fucking adverts. Oh, God. God, I was just trying to all I wanted to do is just... Hold on, here we go. So, I hear the sled, and now I've got to go...
Yes. A slate. Now, Eggs Benedict, if you don't know, is a poached egg, which tend to be runny, served with hollandaise sauce, also runny.
Nice.
And they gave it to me, not on a plate, something with an edge, on a slate.
Nice.
So that means you could pay for it later, obviously.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Because it's on the slate. You can't see me. I'm doing little fist pumps when the music comes on.
Right, carry on, Jim.
But the hollandaise sauce, though, they got round the slate problem by giving it to you in a little square little dish.
Oh, for God's sake.
Which, actually, on reflection, was a way of them not giving you much hollandaise sauce. I opted to have an extra sausage with it, which turned out to be the size of, well, a little more than a cocktail sausage, which I wasn't terribly pleased for my £1.50.
Nice.
Anyhow, the quality of the food was nice. The cocktail was a bit weak. But we were going to, after everyone eaten, we were going to go and, stay on in the bar section, which you didn't need a reservation or to pay a deposit for, and rightly so, and have some more of their cocktails. However, when we were presented with the bill, we found the £30 deposit wasn't there.
Right.
Now, the house policy is you have to pay a deposit in order to book a table.
Yes.
So how could we not have a deposit on our bill?
No.
Now, in a quality establishment, you'd expect, the management to come and check their records. But no, they just said, sorry, we haven't got it, blah, 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 and kind of made out it was Odil's fault. And she knew she'd got a receipt from it.
Yeah.
She had on a computer at home, but she didn't actually, unfortunately, have it on her phone. There was much...
For God's sake.
Much faffing around. The manager didn't deign to show himself. He stayed upstairs, leaving it to the... Admittedly, the very helpful waitress who was stuck in the middle of this to deal with it. So in the end, we said, okay, we'll pay the deposit, but we haven't heard the last of this, and we're not staying for any more of your cocktails. When we got in, Odile got home, found the receipt that their computer system had generated, and a debit from her bank account, which she then emailed to the manager of said place and received no response whatsoever.
Oh, for God's sakes.
So on Monday, she emailed again, then got a response, and the manager said, "Oh, terribly sorry, our sister must have suffered a bit of an accident because it was a bank holiday." Well, yes, you're only a fucking restaurant who you're supposed to be open at weekends and bank fucking holidays.
Fucking hell.
And said, "Oh, we had to contact head office." Head office? You're a fucking one-off pub in Birmingham. You don't have a head office.
No, I'd say he had his head up his orifice. That's what he had.
And said, we'll sort out the return of your deposit in the next few days.
Yeah. Oh, God's sakes.
So as yet, we've not heard anything. So I am trashing the reputation. If you go to Birmingham and you see the Alchemists, feel free to break their windows. Don't go in there. Don't pay money for their overpriced food served on hipster bollocks, and do not, on any circumstance, buy their watered-down cocktails.
There you go.
Don't give them ideas, Jim. Don't give them ideas. They will serve a meal to someone on a pair of bollocks. Okay, that's what'll happen next.
So where is that place which is completely shit that we absolutely recommend that no one goes to?
That's the Alchemists in Birmingham.
The Alchemists in Birmingham is a shit restaurant, pub, bistro thing that you shouldn't go to at all, as endorsed or slanged off by the Blackdog podcast, Mr. Jim Moon, and basically do not go there. There. If you can take nothing else away from this podcast, don't give them any money.
Ever.
Jim, ever.
Yeah, can I just ask, the Alchemist, is it a place that's got a rather extensive gin collection, by any chance?
It does, yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes.
But, well, no, it's just that Odile took me there when I went and visited them. So we went and had lunch there. So I think, it's got bits of bloody chipboard as parts of the decor. Is that right?
No, it could be a different one.
I thought it was the Jekyll.
There's also the Jekyll and Hyde, which is very good indeed.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the Jekyll and Hyde. No, this was by a canal.
That's a different one. That's a different establishment, yes. This has no chipboard at all.
No.
Got you.
No.
Okay, no problem.
Whereas the Alchemist seems to be very much of a hipster spirit.
Yes, and a rip-off.
Ah.
I wasn't even going to press that for myself. Go on, carry on.
So they're pretty sort of like, pretty sort of crap.
I can hear it.
Really,
I can hear it coming. all the way down the road.
They've turned lead into shit. That's what they've done.
You took such a run up at that. I just couldn't not let you have that one.
That's fine. Thank you very much. That's great. That was a swan dive. That was.
It was like the Flash going out of the city, coming back for a big long run. Oh.
Honestly, I don't know where these are coming from tonight. I'm channeling. I think I've turned into Derek Ikara. So I'm channeling stuff. Hey, I'm channeling ghosts.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah,
anything else? Anything else, Jim? Or
No, I'll leave that there.
I was going to say, would you like a nice lie down? Oh dear. Right. Okay. Then Darren, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Been a bit of a painful week for me this week.
Okay.
I took a bit of a nosedive, and I mean a literal nosedive. My foot caught on a paving stone or something, and I fell hard forwards. Now it's a good job my face was there to break the fall. Before that, my knee kind of slowed it down as well. So
Nice.
I've now got a bruise and a graze on my cheekbone.
Oh, for
That
goodness'
fucking
sake.
smarted the next day when I got up.
Oh.
Mind you, it was pretty fucking painful when it happened as well. I've been hobbling around on a swollen knee. It's all right now. I can walk properly now.
Yeah.
But, man, that hurt.
Did it?
Yes.
So are you looking for a Thora Hurd sort of stair lift now? Or one of those.
What, in a fucking ground floor flat?
Yeah.
With no upper floors.
Yeah.
Why is it just going to go
One
on
going
the
room for the room.
Yeah. Just drags you.
like a fucking monorail?
Yeah, like a fucking old person's big track.
Oh, this is fucking Epcot. There we go. Except it hasn't got the fun Disney queues. So,
So, have you got one of those? Did the nurses give you one of those little buttons to press for emergencies now.
Yeah, I've got one of those. It's like, just in case I've an accident between sort of like the fucking sofa and the toilet. I literally could do a single roly-poly from here to the fucking toilet. That's how close it is.
Yeah, which is just as well because you might have to.
I think so.
Silly old bastard.
So yeah, that was the sort of like painful part of the week.
Right.
On Saturday, I went out and saw Duck Cartwright.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And Louise. And
Yep.
also Mark Glass was there, and Laura was around, and Martin Thompson all went out to the pub because Duck and Louise were in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little bit of my backup. In the bar. We went to the Nelly Dean. Now we all know the Nelly Dean is a lovely bar. We had the shindig there last year.
Yep.
Okay, but I have to say it was full of twats. Right, you can tell.
Well, it was at the shindig.
No, yeah, exactly. No, it had a few twats in there.
Yeah.
Right? Well, actually, quite a few twats. Now, I thought that you could actually judge society by standing at a bus stop, right? You can see how people push in, right? They just suddenly side like you've been stood there for half an hour, and somebody just walks straight up to the front of the queue and jumps on the bus before you, without even batting an eyelid. I thought, you want to see people who are inconsiderate go there, but no, you can walk into pubs and do that now.
Yeah.
Because one of my bugbears are people who sit on a chair at the fucking bar. Okay? If
what?
The place is people who sit actually at the bar, right? And there were loads of them there. You really didn't have that much space to go in and get I literally had to climb over people to get to the bar because they were fucking sitting there.
Okay.
It's like you can see the place is crowded. Fuck off.
Okay.
Don't go over there. Stand over there, but don't fucking sit on a seat.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If you were sitting at the bar, would you
I wasn't
move?
sat at the bar. I was trying to get to the fucking bar, but I had to climb over what could only be described as a DFS fucking warehouse. It's like people on wooden chairs just sat there in the way.
Right.
They've got their fucking coats on coat hooks and everything. It's just like, fucking move, you twats.
But the chairs were there.
And this is the thing. Encouragement of that kind of thing as well. But you know what? People need to have a little bit more consideration in pubs. I think personally.
Okay.
They got up. Yeah. It's all right. I didn't kick off or anything.
Oh.
They were fine this time. It's a good job I had a banged up knee and a smashed in face because, there would be trouble.
and your emergency alarm cord run out of batteries.
Exactly. I'd be like, I'm gonna pour. If the batteries are working, I'd be pressing this button.
Yeah, right now, you before you knew it, there'll be an ambulance crew round here to pick my corpse up and give you what for.
Bring in the little sort of like that temporary wheelchair thing that they bring in, and then put a blanket around me and help me into the back of the ambulance and drive off. Oh, I'm lost. Press the button. Yeah.
Oh, you people at the bar, out the way. I know you're sitting in chairs and stuff, but I'm 87, Get out the way. I need to have me pint. Oh, I've fallen over.
You've fallen over.
Press a button. Bring the oxygen. Oh, I'm 87, I've got a Parker pen from Michael Parkinson. Help.
Oh. Anyway, apart from that, good night was had by all.
Right.
It's great. Good night. This week in entertainment, though,
yes.
I tried a game that I've been looking at for quite a while on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
A game called The Long Dark. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's a survival game. Basically, it's in preview. It's like they're still building the game, but you get to play it as it stands and you still have a go at it. And the story is that there's been some sort of electrical storm around the planet, the electronics have gone out in a lot of stuff, and you crash your plane in the Canadian wilderness, and you have to basically survive as long as possible out there.
Okay.
It's really, really good. It's not like a fast shoot 'em up or anything like this. You literally have to go searching for things like hunting knives and try to gather supplies together. You have to watch your hydration, your hunger levels, how cold you're getting, how much sleep you need. And it's a really good little survival strategy game. It's cost I think it's about it's about £9, I think, on there at the moment, and it's gorgeous. It's really, really good. It's such a gorgeous game to look at as well.
Cool,
really, really nice. So
how much is it?
It was about a tenner.
Nice,
I think, or was it on? It might have been on sale actually. I think I might have got it for cheaper than that.
Okay.
Because there's that one, and there's also another one. I think it's called Firewatch.
Yes, that's very good.
Yeah, I've not played that yet. I'm eyeing that one for the next purchase.
That's more of a novel, to be honest.
Oh, it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Good that you told me that.
But it's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
But it's not what you expect, let's put it that way. But it's
okay.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I still might give that a go.
Yeah. Cool. Okie dokie. Anything else, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we threatened to maybe watch the Fast and Furious series.
Oh no.
But
oh no.
Mum texted me this week and said, so how about you take us to see Fast and Furious 8 then?
Don't give me the my mum said I should go fucking
excuse. They want to go. They've asked me to take them. So it's like, okay. So I'm just wondering now, do I have to watch any of the previous movies to find out what the fuck is going on in this thing? Or...
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Do I?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all
Twice.
of them. Yeah.
And the commentaries.
and the special editions.
Right, okay.
There is, as I understand it from the reviews, Jason Statham's character who appears it has some back history that you need to have at least seen. I think is it 7 or 6? I can't remember. But there you go. I'm not going to tell you more than that. You have to watch the rest of them to find fuck out. Because don't come on. How many people in the audience listening right now, and will undoubtedly point back on the Facebook group? How many people believe that Darren's really having his parents take him to see Fast and the Furious?
No, I'm taking them to see it. They want me to take them. They want to say, "Come on, let's all go." I'm like, all right.
So you're not going to because next week, next Friday is Guardians Galaxy 2.
What, this Friday coming?
Not as in Friday, but the following Friday.
Oh well, that's fine. I'll take them to see that as well. But it's this Friday we're going.
Okay.
So expect a review.
Yeah. I look forward to it.
Have your parents seen the other 7, by the way?
Good question.
Yeah, they're fans.
So what you're basically saying is you already have access to all 7 on DVD.
No, I've actually got them digitally because we were going to do the big watch, so I've got them. I've actually got them. I'm
still not sure about that big watch. That was a Pete and Elton Shonky Lab challenge. It's now a different Shonky Lab, different generation, different timeline.
Whenever you want to trigger Article 60 or whatever it is we're calling this,
you're
call it Frexit. There we go.
Frexit. Fucks it.
Fucks it. There we are. Fucks it.
Whenever we want to fucks it, this is it. Yeah, you're ready to rock and roll, is what you're saying.
Well, I've got. If you're ready to pull the trigger on this one, I've got the ammunition right here.
I think I'll wait. We've got
sure.
We've got plenty of shit coming down the pipe at this point.
At a rate of knots.
At a rate of knots, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the list, do go on the Facebook group and take a look. There's quite a lot of shit coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Look upon my works, ye mighty, in despair.
Exactly. Exactly. But, people have only got themselves to blame. I mean, the stats bear it out. After hours.
Well, people ask for these things when you put them this and they go, oh, no.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. But
You ask for the Manos Hand of Fate, you're getting Manos Hand of Fate.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, sorry, I won't be sending feedback this week because I didn't watch the film."
Yeah. No, trust me. The stats bear out now. Now that we're on Libsyn, I can see the stats. I can see what films are popular when we do them and what ones aren't. And it is overwhelmingly the shit ones that get everyone listening.
Yep, listeners, we know your dirty, dark little secrets.
Yeah, we
There
know.
you go.
We know now. We know what happens now. You look at the one, you go, it's a good film. Probably, I'll catch up with it later on in the week.
Yep.
And then, sure enough, you don't. So,
Our info is so pinpoint now. I think, quoting you, Lee, we can actually organise drone strikes on people.
yeah, we know exactly when and who and how they download it. We are watching. We are watching all times. Right. Well,
if you displease us, you'll hear a buzzing sound getting louder.
Yes. Well, it looks like somebody would like a dose of freedom straight through their window. Anyway,
Suddenly the doorbell goes ding dong.
yeah. Muad'Dib. Anyway, yeah. Well, my week's been pretty quiet. Just Easter, chocolate, family, that kind of thing. So that's all cool. The only two things of note. One, I saw a horror film, caught up with it last night, called The Void.
Ah, yes.
Have you seen it yet, Jim?
I've not seen it. I've heard a lot about it, though.
Yeah, it's a crowd-funded, hark back to the sort of 80s weird, visceral, sort of Hellraiser-y, Event Horizon, Brian Yazuna kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots and lots of practical effects, lots and lots of rubber and goo on display, and lots of all the bad things that come with those kind of films as well, such as the slightly incoherent plot and the ever so slightly dodgy acting, which kind of doesn't quite sell you on the extreme horror that you're watching in front of you. It's a noble attempt at a hark back to the 80s, and it's got a lot of Lovecraftian kind of, something from beyond space, from beyond time that has been here well before God arrived and will be there well after God has left, is kind of trying to break through. And mad scientists and cults and ancient religions and all that kind of good old stuff that you get in the kind of Lovecraft and who's the other one? Is it Brian Lumley?
Yep.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, and it does feel like a kind of like a Hellraiser spin-off, or what's the other one? From Beyond. From Beyond's a very good touchstone for it. And it's almost there, is all I can say. There's a lot of stuff where you sit there going, oh, God, don't show me that again, please, thanks, that'll be lovely. And then there's bits of it where you just go, that's just nonsense. That's just, I mean, it's not in the film. I'm just going to give you a hypothetical because I don't want to spoil anything, but there'll be a scene where someone will be standing there going, okay, all you people, back up over there. I'm not going to attack. I want everyone to stay over there because I'm a little bit paranoid. Ah! And then all of a sudden a door will open to one side of him. A blob monster will come through, stick tentacles up his arse, one through his eyes, pull his ears off, and drag him out the door. And everyone goes, "Is everyone all right?" You're like,
yeah, I know that school of dialogue well.
Yeah, it's like we've just seen some eldritch horror of which should not exist on this earth. Just pull a man inside out and stuff its dick up his nose, and our next answer is, damn, any second now the lights are going to go out. It's like, what? Pardon? What? Did you see what I just saw in lovingly gory detail in flashing strobe light-tastic vision? So there's lots of stuff like that, and he's just shy of being really good. You could just feel that if you took what's there and just gave it, because it's a crowdfunded film, and for a crowdfunded film, it's superbly impressive. But you've got to turn around and just say, well, actually, now if you took everything that was in that and give it to a scriptwriter and a decent editor, a couple of extra scenes reshot would sort that completely out. And what you would have is a bona fidely sort of nod back to sort of late era Carpenter, classic. But what you get is instead a slightly uneven film, which you think, I'm not seeing the final draft here. So it's well worth a look, but I think all the teaser trailers that make it look super weird, and all the sort of gore and horror stuff that you see up close and visceral in some of the teaser posters and all that kind of stuff, really kind of oversell the weirdness. And,
okay, right.
Yeah.
I have heard mixed
Tries
reports
too
of
hard.
it. Some people really liked it, and other people go, that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
That would explain a lot, actually. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I mean, your mileage will vary, and as Darren said just then, you get a feeling at one point it tries too hard. There's a scene in the morgue, and again, it's the same sort of deal. It's like, you're looking at things that look like a car crash with the entire cast of Cirque du Soleil covered in Angel Delight, and you're thinking, fuck me, this is just not right. This is not right at all. Meanwhile, everyone's kind of standing there going, there must be a way to switch on the lights. And he's like, what? No.
Well, the lights aren't your main bother right now.
No. Right now, things with no heads going, love us, is kind of more of your issue, perhaps. And there's that kind of oddness where it's just like, no, this is one edit away from getting it absolutely right. So The Void, it's in the cinema, and it's come onto streaming services as well in a simultaneous release, so you can rent it for about £4 on Blinkbox or Amazon, I think, at the moment. So it's well worth checking out if you've got any interest in that kind of thing. The other thing, which kind of visually relates, is I had in one of those kind of moments, I had some Chinese last night, which was lovely, and then I learnt the hard way that you should really chew your noodles.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Euphemism.
No, there was no euphemism. Today I have been going around like a dog with worms, because
That's a great image.
the long and the short of it is, I was really hungry. This was before watching The Void. The kids and I were watching Carol, were watching the last 3 episodes of the season 2 of The Flash, and it's kind of building and building and building, and we're like, oh, this is great. So we got a Chinese meal in, and it's all coming in, and I'm like sort of just jamming it in my mouth, and I weren't really chewing, I think. And so today I've had this whole thing of kind of constantly kind of farting, and then suddenly realising I've got a prehensile tail made of noodles.
Lovely. What a beautiful image.
I hope no one's eating at this point, but it was, it's been a constant aggravating thing for me all day. So just remember, kids, chew your food. That's all I'm saying, because you don't really want to be dealing with that, because you kind of you wipe and then you realise that you've got to give it a bit of a pull as well. There you go. So on that delightful note, shall we review the film?
Yes,
Yeah,
this week's
go on,
film,
then.
Squirm. Killer worm movie.
Nice. What's the one with the shit weasels? Right, okay, so, yes, Reign of Fire. Reign of Fire is a 2002 British, Irish, American post-apocalyptic disaster fantasy film. Just about covers everything, doesn't it? Directed by...
On ice!
Yeah. Nice. Dragons on ice. Sir, not appearing in this picture. Directed by Rob Bowman, who's a stalwart of the old X-Files directing and writing canon. Starring Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale. Geezer. With a screenplay by Matt Greenberg. I don't know what he sounds like. And featuring Isabella Scorpio. I can't pronounce that.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. And Gerard Butler. The film is set in a post-apocalyptic England in the year 2020, 20 years after the
Brexit.
Yeah, after Brexit. After the Crossrail went wrong, but they inadvertently reawake dragons from centuries of slumber, and the creatures subsequently replace humans as the dominant species on Earth. With the fate of mankind at stake, two surviving parties led by Quinn Abercrombie, really, and Denton Van Zandt, really, respectively, find that they must work together to hunt down and destroy the beasts, in a desperate attempt to take back the world. The film was released by Touchstone Pictures, July the 12th, 2002. Upon its release, it received generally mixed reviews and became a commercial failure. It had a $60 million budget, not including advertising and all that stuff. But how much did it actually make at the box office, Darren?
I'd say 40 million.
Okay. And Jim?
25 million.
I think we've got the gauge of what everyone thinks of this film. It's actually 82 million, which sounds like it made a lot of money, but apparently the advertising shaved all of that off, so it was actually a commercial failure.
Ouch.
So it grossed 82 million, but never actually made 82 million. Here we go. Here's the production notes. Reign of Fire was filmed in Ireland's Wicklow Mountains on the condition that the crew cleaned up after themselves and not damage the landscape. Shot during an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Europe, many planned sequences could not be filmed due to that restriction. The Dead Dragon was designed by and built by Artem, with the visual effects by the company's secret lab. That's it. That's your entire feedback.
Wow.
That's
really?
It. That's it. All done. Oh, unless you wanted me to read out the soundtrack listing.
No, that's all right.
Oh, well, there you go. We're done. So, Jim, tell us, what did you think of Reign of Fire?
It's a strange one, this, because it's like you're getting the sequel to a film. But not the first one. And it's just kind of like, previously on Reign of Fire, dragons destroyed the world.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the spin-off TV series follow-up.
Yeah.
I think it owes an obvious debt to Day of the Triffids. And it wants to do that thing of people surviving in a post-apocalyptic world rather than showing you the apocalypse that destroyed the world. And okay, I understand kind of why they took that route, because dragons destroying the world is bloody expensive, even with cheap CGI. But at the same time, it is kind of, it's always tantalizing this carrot in front of you. Of, here's what you could have had, but we're not showing you. It has some nice touches to it, and I can go along with it quite well, I think, and I think I enjoyed it more this time than from when I saw it at the cinema, where I came off feeling a bit shortchanged, shall we say. But when I knew what I was getting for it, I could sort of, appreciate it a bit more in its own merits. I mean, as a silly monster movie goes, there are far worse out there by a long chalk.
Yeah.
However, it's one of those things. It's kind of, I think, with some tweaks, it could have been a lot better. I mean, the whole conceit of killing the dragon could have been built up a bit more. The idea, I think, there's a nice irony that in the end you take it down with a bow and arrow. Go back to basics.
Yeah,
which is kind of mythic, which you could have built up, a bit more, and kind of, the reason why the world's military failed is because if you try and napalm a creature that breathes fire, weirdly enough, it's fire resistant, as any D&D player knows. However, if you shoot something into its gob and ignite it from within, Bob's your uncle. Barbecue dragon all round for tea, lads. But it's kind of, I quite enjoyed it, but there is kind of just massive things I had to just hand wave away and ignore. Like at the end, where after the film being very, very grey, suddenly someone discovers the colour palette.
Yeah.
And the idea of kind of, well, there's a king dragon. If we kill him, that'll be fine. It's like, what happens to the other ones? Aren't there still thousands of the dragons still around fucking everything up?
Yeah.
All right, they can't breed, but it's a bit of a premature victory there, I think. You count your chickens before you've hatched, I think. Just a wee bit there.
Just ever so slightly.
Counting your dragons before they've hatched.
Well, indeed.
Yeah.
It's one of the, I like the idea. I like what they gave us as a bit of sort of throwaway entertainment. But it's one of those, it's kind of, this film, it's one of those massive missed opportunities. I mean, I think actually, a TV series about surviving in a world where there are frequent dragon attacks, that's really, that's a concept that's got legs.
Yeah.
If you're going to steal from Day of the Triffids, go the full fucking hog, I say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can do some quite interesting stuff with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of, really the story's too small for one film. That's kind of that's the real problem with it. It's a brilliant idea, but it's a too bigger idea for a film of this budget.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's kind of overextends its grasp in terms of ambition. It's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those films where you go, yeah. You see, what you really needed was $100 million and a better director, and a better script.
Yeah, I mean the thing of as a kid he gets spat at and marked by the dragon. The first time I watched it, and this time again, because it's a while since I saw it at the cinema. I expected that to lead into something. Yeah, that would give him some sort of scent or marking so he could sneak up on the dragon. It wouldn't sense him. Yes. And that's something that just seems to go nowhere. Yeah. And there's a lot of things like that that's kind of there's some good ideas, but it's not developed at all. But I mean, I do like the dragons in it. I mean, that's the bitter pill I think with this film is when you do see the dragons, you go, oh, they look really good. Yeah. I wish we got the scenes on the poster. Yes. With it torching Big Ben and being chased by Apache helicopters.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much it could have done.
I know. But, as I say, in the grand scheme of monster films, including the entire dreadful output of The Asylum, and not to mention, around this period, this was one that it was around the same time Anaconda had come out.
Oh, God.
Which, if you think a giant snake and Jennifer Lopez is a surefire winner, boy, are you wrong if you watch that heap of shit.
Oh,
but there's a load of...
Go on.
The thing that sold that film was leering John Voight. That's what it was. That one bit where he gets regurgitated out of the snake, stands there for a second, you think he's dead, and all of a sudden he goes, ha ha, and like gives right in the face of the camera.
Gives you a little wink, doesn't he?
Yeah, he leers. He's sort of like, all right, how you doing?
Oi, oi.
How do?
Oh, God. Yeah. No, I take your point though, Jim. I mean, it is one of those. It is one of those films where you can't really say it's the worst film ever.
It's one of those. It's a new category I'm sort of inventing: the missed opportunity movie.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? Kind
There's
of like,
so many of them.
oh God, you could have done so much with this.
Yes.
I mean, I like kind of the prayers they had, which are kind of that shows a bit of thought into the world. The idea that this is your survival drill.
Yeah.
Are your nightly prayers, and I think we'll all probably say the idea of men reenacting Star Wars for kids. I think that seems brilliant. There's a little kid at the front in particular.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just so expressive. It's brilliant.
Yeah. But
but it's kind of it's one of those things. It's kind of it just levels out. Kind of, oh, that was all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have been better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've imagined a far better version. I'll stick with that one, please.
Yeah. C+, see me after school. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, then what about you then, Mr. B?
Well, I think I said this last week, but the one thing I remember comes to mind every time I think of this film is that whole of Christian Bale and Gerard Butler's character reenacting The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Right in front of those kids.
Yeah.
That every single time. And, I really like that bit, as Jim has already said. That's one of my favourite bits in the film. And it's a whole bit, the big pause, and he goes, "I am your father." And it's the reaction of all those kids is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic stuff. But, okay, let's start off, shall we, with the lack of health and safety rules being played in this film.
Yes.
So let me get this straight. You let a small child go down a fucking lift shaft by themselves and without safety equipment on.
And let's not forget, let them go and explore an untested cave that we've just dug into.
Yep. There you are. I'll tell you what, it was a Claims Direct fucking advert waiting to happen, that place. It really was. Have you had an accident at work? Have you been spat upon by fucking dragons?
Yeah.
Then you should call us.
Oh,
Dragon lawyers for you. So it's quite shocking.
The work, man. Do you want a fat kid?
Exactly.
Here, have a go with crack pipe.
Let me get this straight. You've got naked flames near underground territories that you're actually digging through. You don't know if there's going to be pockets of methane down there, right? Yeah. Okay. Boom. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, getting on to the film itself. Now, again, not the worst film I've ever seen. Not the worst film I've ever seen. Although I do have to wonder, A, where does all the electricity come from? And B, where were they storing the fuel for the tank, the truck, and the fucking helicopter? Because they were bare bones, right? They came up with a couple of trucks that were full of troops.
Yep.
And they had the tank and they had motorbikes. And it's like, well, where's your fuel canisters? Where's that? You know?
Yeah.
And also, I want to know, it's supposed to be a Marine.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, not a very fucking intelligent one. Right? Okay? Let me get this straight. You had the armies of the world go up against the dragons and they lost. Right? So, what makes you think that a couple of fucking transit vans and one tank is actually going to do any good against the dragons?
Yeah, there's a flaw in the plan there. I can see it. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, and they actually show the flaw in the plan because they turn up and they all get fucking barbecued. It's like, there we go, look, we're marching here. We've got the tank and everything, and whoosh, flambe. Thank you very much indeed. Can I have a burger bun for that?
Yeah.
All done.
Yeah.
All dead.
Yeah. I just, I'll wait until I get to my bit. But that whole bunch of Marines is a thing in itself. Just. Oh man. Anyway, carry on.
So it's like this whole film devolves into. I mean, literally, at one part in the film, you have to be a fish at the bottom of the ocean to be able to understand what Christian Bale and Matthew Mahogany are actually saying to one another. You see, they slowly get Laura, the voice, and there's you fucking why you here, mate? And it's like, will you fucking speak up? Yeah, it's like you know, in Street Fighter. Right, okay, the actual game, the video game Street Fighter, or one of the other beat 'em up classics. Right, okay, even today, those 2D beat 'em ups.
Yes,
right, yeah. And you've got the page where you can choose who your opponent is and who you're playing, right? And every time you pick one, they've got a phrase like, I'm going to poke you in the eye, and the other one's like, I'm riding an ice cream van, that kind of thing, right? That's what you got with this, right? Okay, you had Matthew McConaughey going, "You're going home," and Christian Bale coming out with a wonderfully Shakespearean piece of acting, saying, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." There you go. That's what it was like. That's what it reminded me of.
Geezer.
You're fine. Like that. Cockney. There you are.
A fucking canoe made of marzipan.
Tin of peas. Banana hat rack. So,
yeah.
Nice. So it got a bit ridiculous. We could have almost had a season of ridiculous shouty fight season with this.
Yeah, because
you could have had this. You could have had fucking They Live, and you could have had Cyborg starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nice.
Right? With the famous fight at the end of that, where every time somebody gets hit, you hear, "Rrr, rrr, 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 rrr," and that's all it is. That's all that fight contains.
It does.
It's just grunting.
Yeah, it does become like that as sort of slow motion fight between Kato and Inspector Clouseau.
So there you go. But that aside, this is a real lost opportunity. Do you know, actually, there was a better, and this is a much worse film than this. There was a much better dragon sequence in Sucker Punch than there was in this film. And Sucker Punch wasn't actually mainly about dragons.
No.
You had a B-52. You had was it a Lancaster bomber or a B-52 bomber taking on a dragon in Sucker Punch? This is the sort of shit we should have been seeing in this film.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Even if it's just like a quick dream sequence that, Christian Bale thinks back, he has these nightmares of when it all kicked off and he sees the air battles between sort of like, the British Royal Air Force and the Dragon Invasion Force, that kind of thing. It could have been a real Battle of Britain thing.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
There you go. Let's give us $100 million. We'll make this fucking thing.
Yeah, we'll fucking redo it.
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, it is a film that definitely needs redoing.
Well, this is one of those films. It's a prime candidate to be remade.
Yes.
Don't remake a film they got it right in the first place. Remake a film like this that didn't get it right.
No,
there's room for improvement.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree. I think it's one of those films where you just need to go and make it again. Go and make it again because you get that much more now for your money. You'd be able to make a film which lived up to the ambitions.
Although, think about it, right? Okay, this is weights and balances here for this thing, right? Okay, you'd spend most of your budget on the battle sequences. So the main actor you'd have playing Christian Bale's role would have to be someone like Danny Dyer or something like that. That's your trade up.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Actually, I think I'd like to see that film.
Yeah.
The thing is, with things like this is where Hollywood always gets it wrong.
Yeah.
They go, we need a name star. No. You're making a film about dragons. If you've got the dragons, people don't care about the humans.
Yeah.
There are lots of cheap, unknown actors who can put in a blinding performance, and you could have a Star of Tomorrow cast.
Yes.
But we don't need to get Tom Cruise to sell us on this. We don't give a fuck about Tom Cruise.
No, not really.
We want to see the dragons.
Show me.
We want to see a squadron of tornadoes taking on dragons.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You need, if you're making a film about dragons and you're putting on the poster a lot of dragons, then I want to see a lot of fucking dragons. I don't want to see more tomatoes than I see dragons. And let's be honest, I saw more tomatoes than dragons.
Well, we kind of got more dragons in one scene, but that was like quickly the budget's running out. Quickly budget, and the budget's gone.
Yeah, well, you could tell because as soon as the dragon attacked, as soon as the budget ran out, it became a shadow flying overhead with people looking up, going, It's like, and the money has run out. The money has run out. Please back away from the dragon. But yeah, you could almost see it like a price list. Oh, we can give you an eye for 50p. And if you want, we can give you a bit of a wing for £1.50. Oh, can you? Okay. What about what if I want to see the whole dragon? Whole dragon, that's going to cost you. Well, how about a whole dragon with a tomato plant in front of it? Whoa, well, tomato plants, they need to be CG as well. Okay, what if I had a still frame with a truck, with a guy sitting on the truck, and 100 tomato plants, and we filmed all of that? How much could we have then? Oh, you get a tenner if you put a lot of fire in the way. Oh, well, okay, fair enough. What will I get for that then? Oh, you get a tail and a horn. Brilliant, done. I want lots of tail and horn.
Maybe we should do sort of like a video review of some of these films, especially this one, with a little rolling counter in the corner. So that every time something big happens, you see the money disappearing. You can then get an idea. Do I need to stay to the end of this film? Yeah. Is the quality going to get any better, or is the quality really going to go?
Yeah.
And it's when they're down to sort of like £7.50 and a couple of luncheon vouchers, then it's like maybe I'm not going to make the credits.
Yeah. Or what was it? Who's that guy? The guy who's in the Parapod, Ray Peacock. I heard a podcast with him the other day, and he's saying like how he was in Doctor Who, Blink, and he'd been filmed in that, and he only shows up in like 3 scenes, but he doesn't like Doctor Who, but he watched it all the way through to the end just in case he turned up again.
So it's a case of blink and you'll miss him.
Well, exactly, but it's that whole thing of like, wouldn't it, why are you actually staying to watch the rest of it? And maybe we could do that. Yeah. Okay. Well, anything else, sir? You I mean, we haven't even got to the actual plot. Such as
the plot. Let's see the plot.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. I think this is it. Yeah, we're done. I don't know what. About the plot, it's pretty straightforward, really, isn't it? It's, London gets torn apart, or should I say the world gets torn apart by dragons. Small community. It follows the same tropes that a lot of post-apocalyptic films do. You have your fortress of safety, whatever that may be, which has been secure for God knows how long. And it's like some inexplicable thing happens, and all of a sudden that safety's gone. It's like, well, how the fuck did you last that long? If all it took was one dragon to do what it did,
Yeah.
So it's got that, and then you've got the road trip, which goes on in a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, where they have to go from the safety of that shelter that's now got, all of its walls blasted down and everything, to go and do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really not looking forward to that apocalypse season we got coming up. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Well, I think maybe we might want to hold off on that, because I think real life's about to become a really shit apocalypse season with the things that are going on in the world at the moment. So maybe that it'd be too realistic, or it could be like a little help guide for people.
Yeah,
this is how you survive.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Blackdog's Guide to the Apocalypse. Yeah, just don't get George Peppard, don't get a tank that looks like Big Track,
exactly,
and don't fight large cockroaches. I think that's good.
I think that is good. Yeah, no matter how safe, your base is. I mean, you could even be encased in 400-foot thick concrete blocks. Doesn't matter. One little thing's going to happen, and the zombies will get in.
There'll always be some arsehole who just decides that today's the day I'm going to open the door and leave the door unlocked.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need that. All right, then. Well, what did I think? I thought this was shit. I mean...
good night, folks.
I mean, I wanted to give it a chance because, after last week when I kind of went off on one, and I sort of...
Really?
Yeah, just and that was just saying like, oh, what did you think of, what did you think of it? What do you think of it? Are you looking forward to it next time? And it's like, and then by the end of it, I was like, actually, I'm really cross. And then by the time we've ended recording, I suddenly thought, why am I cross? Because of the poster not fulfilling the details, It didn't fulfill the promise of the poster. Well, I'm not looking at the poster now. Maybe I should give it a chance. And then the first dragon appears, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there are more dragons in this than I remember. And I'm thinking, okay, right, fine. And then after that, I'm like sitting there, and it's like 60 more minutes in, and there's lots, and that fucking Star Wars scene that everyone honks on about, you guys included, it's like, that's in the first 3 minutes. Yeah. You've still got an hour and 40 to fucking go. And I'm like, oh, I thought that'd be like a little sweetener right in the middle of the film, and I thought, hang on, no. And then it's like, where's the dragons? Where's the dragons? The dragon. I mean, I felt like I keep going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's like, there's more dragons in Enter the Dragon than in this film. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, here comes the dragon. And then it's like, why is there a dragon? Because for some random reason, a bunch of people don't understand how farming works. After living in a castle for 7 fucking years. It's like, so how have you survived for the last 7 years? Well, easy. We've just survived. Oh, but now, today, we've decided we're going to eat all the seeding tomatoes. You absolute dick. And this whole film should just be called, oh, you absolute dick. All the way through it. Because you get fucking Matthew Mahogany turn up with his fucking tank of master sort of dragon killers, and he's sitting there with his little tooth going, have you seen one of these? Not many people have. I've got like half a dozen of these out the back. Ooh, yeah, look at this. I got a fucking tooth on a fucking necklace. Yeah, because I kill dragons. And then it's like, who are those guys? Oh, they're angels. Why are they called angels? Oh, because they've got an exact life of 17 seconds. That's an angel, is it? That's what angels do, is it? They last 17 seconds. Right. Thanks for that. That makes no sense whatsoever. And then it's like, and you get this whole thing of, ta-da, they're going to fly off and they're going to catch a dragon, and you think, this will be good. We'll get to see a dragon, and we get to establish that these guys are real badasses. Every single one of them makes an absolute clusterfuck of catching the first dragon you see. It's like, what? Hang on. These guys are supposed to have brought... I got a dragon tooth. I brought down dragons. Yeah, I've got all these fucking tanks, and I got this helicopter. Yeah. And it's suddenly like, oh, we've not quite equated for the fact that the dragon might attack someone on a bloody motorcycle. Well, there goes my fucking plane. And then the next... my plane's gone to shit. Because Freddy's got his head taken off. And you know, do we send out another Freddy? Do we send out another bloke to go stick that fucking post up? No, I'm just going to sit in my tank going, are you there? Hello? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Hello? Talk to me. Hello? It's like, you fucking what? He's dead. You know, 2 seconds will tell you he's dead. Meanwhile, we've got Halo jumpers who can't even read an altimeter and goes, what's that? It's a big wide-sounding word like round, ground. I'll call it the ground. I wonder if it'll be friends with me. Bounce. It's like...
He did. That fucker didn't bounce. Trust me.
He coyoted it straight into the floor, didn't he? He was just like doink.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know, that's how you know now why they have their names chalked on the fucking ankles of their boots. Just in case the fucking pole drive straight to the concrete.
The soles of their shoes. That's the only way we're going to find him.
Fucking ankles. It's like fucking javelin, just...
Yeah, and it's like... So at what point are we supposed to actually work this shit out that these guys are worth following? Why at all? They're complete incompetence. Absolute incompetence.
Do you know what the last thing to go through his mind was?
His fucking arse.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. And then it's like, and then you've got this whole thing of like, oh, well, we bring down the dragon. Oh, we've killed like half our platoon, but we brought down one dragon. It's like, right,
well done.
Yeah, well done. So what was there, like 500 of you fuckers to get that fucking tooth that he's wandering around with? And then on top of that, you get the whole thing of, oh, yeah, well, you know, we're going to go off and we're going to get those dragons down in London. We're going off to London. Yeah, we're going off to London, ain't we? Yeah. And like, out of nowhere comes Mr. Big Bull Dragon. And what's the strategic fucking genius for that? Well, the dragon can fire in a straight line. I know what we'll do. We'll line up for him.
Yep.
We'll sit on a road and we'll line up. It's like, take the formation, boys. And they all just stand there in a big lump. They might as well just have said barbecue. They might have just put a fucking skewer up their arse and just bin the shish kebab, saved him all the work. And it's just like, and then the dragon just somehow tracks them back to the fucking, to the castle. How? Does the dragon understand motorways?
It's not Benedict Cumberbatch, is it? Because I mean, you know, he did the voice for Smaug, so it's not him.
Yeah,
that's Sherlock. That's how he traced them back.
Well, considering how long those guys have been on the road and their general driving appearance, they could probably follow the scent back.
Yeah. Well, I suppose
and
so.
the trail of empty Budweiser and cigar butts left by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say, I don't actually think he was chewing cigar butts. I think he was just picking up dog shit at that point, because it just made no sense where he was getting any of that stuff from. And so they were complete incompetence. And then when he comes back and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I should have listened to you, I'm really sorry. And it's just like, right, brilliant, well done. And then what does Christian Bale do? I've been protecting these people for so long. Been protecting. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the youngest kid in the fucking world left looking after another bunch of young kids in a burning castle. Hey, tell our kids I'm off down from Scotland now. I'm off now because I've got no way of getting down there apart from walking. So 400 miles. We'll be there. We'll be back in a bit. Don't worry, kids, you'll be fine. Just lick up the ash like the fucking dragons do. It's just stupid. And then they do this whole bollocksy fucking thing. Like, oh yeah, the dragons, they're like fish. So, firstly, how did you come to that conclusion? Secondly, if they really are like fish, Jurassic Park, which came out like 4 years before this film, no, 5 years before this film, teaches you that basically if you have a single sex group of lizardy, amphibian-y type creatures, one of them will change sex to carry on the line. They don't just die out. You kill off the bull and it's like, okay, right, fine, another one just changes sex. And let's be honest, at that point, we're not talking about clever evolution anymore, because we've already established that these things eat ash, and yet somehow they're starving. And not only that, they got fangs. Why would a creature need fangs if it's going to do nothing but lick ashtrays? Why? Why would it have them things? Why would it have evolved a need? And then not only that, why would it be fucking starving if all it had to do was just burn shit down? There were still buildings, there were still trees, there was fucking grass everywhere. Just burn the shit down. But no, don't worry, it's not worried about us anymore. It just wants the ash. Oh, right, brilliant. What, you mean all that ash you've been running around in for the last hour and a half? Oh, it didn't want that. It wants fresh ash, does it? Fucking stupid film. Fucking nonsense. Absolute complete and utter bollocks. I mean, it's just like, by the time you get to the very end, when it's like, oh yeah, right, okay, so no one decided to drop a nuke on the biggest of the big dragons. Oh no, we couldn't find him, not with all our technology, but Matthew Mahogany wants to have a crack at it with 2 arrows and a fucking tire iron shaped like an axe. It's like, really? Is that it then, is it? Well done, you. Well done. And the fucking creature itself already shows itself to be a cunning fucking thing. So why is it, that can hover? So why on earth is it flying about like a lunatic when 5 minutes ago we've seen it basically nuke an entire platoon just by hovering above them out of range and just going at them? Why is it suddenly have to get down and personal with 3 people when it could just float about 100 feet off the air and just nuke the entire site with just like a single sneeze? It's like, fucking hell. The whole part of this fucking film just drove me nuts. Just stupid.
Reign of stupidity.
Just reign of nonsense. Just reign of bullshit. It's just nothing about this film made any sense whatsoever. As Jim said, it could have been a TV series. You could have made a whole thing about this. You could have made a bigger universe out of this. But no, we had to go for they like eating ash. Why? No, I don't know. And if they like eating ash, then why wouldn't you just, I don't know, set fire to a forest, let them come down and eat that, and then shoot them? They're clearly susceptible to weapons. It's just, why? I just feel like the fucking John Travolta fucking meme, just wandering backwards and forwards, waving my hands about every scene, going, what? Just what is this? Just stupid film. Stupid film. Anyway. Oh, yeah, by the way, I did get some feedback from Elton. He was going to say that he quite liked it, and he thought the film was a bit too much like Jaws, with 3 people going after the big bad at the end. So it's quite good that he wasn't here, really, because if he compared that to Jaws while I was sitting here, probably would have killed him with my mind.
Shot him with mind bullets.
yeah. It's okay. He's only after the ash. Just leave him alone. Oh, God. Anyway, shall we move on to feedback?
Yes,
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now put your hands up, here online, doing real fine. We're doing our podcast thing. It's called Blackdog, it's not like a job, it's anyone there listening. Whether you're think of our show, let us know by MP3 or email. Just get it to us, it ain't no fuss. We'll even read your Twitter rings. Cause if you like us or you hate us, send some feedback in. Got a geek report to raise and put some feedback in. If you think my voice is sexy, put some feedback in. Man, we really like it if you put some feedback in.
Right, okay, so feedback time, and now it's time for the first feedback, which is Mr. Worf, Madden from the USS Blackdog, Mr. Worf, and he writes, one thing worse than dragons, and that's feedbackers. You said it. Come on, we could have all gone home by now. You're all thinking it. Anyway, greetings, he writes. Lee, Darren, Jim, and Elton. Elton's not here. And that flatulent, feathered fire breather, Mr. Owl.
Where is he? No, he's eating some ash out the ashtray.
Yeah,
filthy bird.
Filthy bastard. Right, anyway.
Yes.
This now.
No, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wipe your mouth of the ashtray, dirty bastard. Yeah, he's gonna starve to death as soon as you start taking up e-cigarettes, Jim. Anyway, this week we look at Reign of Fire, which was a complete surprise to me, being that I had confused it with another movie about dragons. So when I popped the movie in, I was prepared for the worst, but I was also surprised to find a completely different movie than the one I was thinking of, which I still can't remember the name of, although it wasn't the greatest of films. It was bad and only had a few major flaws in it.
Nice.
A few major flaws. Anyway, the plot line was nothing special. The basic hero had a traumatic event that plays it safe for a while and then has to go out and fight the big baddie and comes out smelling like a rose. Not the most original plot line, but it was bad but it wasn't bad in the film. And now on to the major flaws in this movie that really stuck out to me. First, is it normal in England to allow a small child to run around construction sites unattended and even climb into drilling holes? My lord, how do you have any kids around there? Well, actually, yeah, it's a coming of age thing we all have to do. We all go down pit. We all go down pit with a canary, and if we come out, we're real men and we're allowed to vote and everything. Anyway, he continues, I guess it would toughen them up a bit, maybe prepping them for a long trip on United Airlines. Hey, a bit of politics there. All right, I've said enough about that one. I guess I had to have an excuse to have the main character around when the dragons first came out. Another thing that bothered me was the plague of dragons. Would you call that a dragon apocalypse? I'm not sure, but I've never heard of a group of dragons which is only one or two at a time, and also only having one male. Are we in Jurassic Park? I don't know, but it all seems all kinds of silly. But I guess they had to find a way so that the hero could eliminate all the dragons at once. And last but not least, so they're telling me that the entire combined armies of the world could not eliminate these dragons, but two men can go and finish the whole ordeal in a day, and not even a day, it was a few hours. Wow, how did that happen? Also, what was the deal with the battle axe? I'm not sure, but the more I think about it, this film, the sillier it seems anyway. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up here, so signing off from the USS Blackdog security post, wish you all a good week to come. Cheers, Greg Madden, Mr. Worf. Well, thank you very much for that, sir. This film is utterly, utterly, utterly stupid, and questioning it is just like saying, why is this film stupid? It just is. It just is fucking dumb. Why did Matthew McConaughey feel the need to literally leap into the mouth of an oncoming dragon? What did he think he was going to do? What did he actually think the outcome was? I mean, if he missed the dragon, he'd fall to his death. If he hit the dragon would die and he would fall to his death. If he got caught by the dragon would fucking eat him. Or set him on fire. Either way, Matthew McConaughey dies for no good reason, despite being a strategic genius, apparently. Fucking idiot. As far as the axe is concerned, was there any reason for the axe?
It would look good on the toys, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's just nonsense. Anyway, one other thing, just going back to something you said, Jim. I think they did miss out something about the whole marking him with the eyes, stuff in his eyes thing. Giving him a connection to the dragon. I mean, they really missed a trick on that one. The more the more I think about it, the more I just think, oh God, that's another thing where they could have just gone, oh, he has a connection to the dragon, and it can't be any more nonsense than things with teeth eating ash. But here you go, and then eating their own. Why on earth would a big bull dragon eat meat if it's after ash? Why would it start eating the female dragons?
Oh, I know why.
Why?
Because shut up, that's why.
Very good. Well done.
There you go.
There you go. Brilliant. Well,
sales in the t-shirt go up through the fucking roof. There we are.
For at least another £1. I'm getting another £1 from Redbubble before you know it. Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Greg, anyway. And, let's move on. So, Jim, who do you have first?
Next, we have Mr. Steve Deegan.
Mr. Steve Deegan. And what does he have to say?
Well, he writes, subject line, if there's one thing I hate, it's a fucking cockney.
Fucking hell. Geezer.
Anyhow, Steve writes, hey there, gang. Monkey here again, giving feedback on how my urinary tract infection ruled me, or, as it's more commonly known, rain of fire. Either way, it means the same thing. A steaming stream of burning piss. It's been years since I saw this, and I now remember why. My clearest memory of my last and only viewing was of the first scene. What I don't remember is the annoying voice of that kid. I could have been the only one hoping he would die or the scene would end quicker. And was it just me, or was there a whole lot of Aussie accents at that worksite? That should immediately take a UK audience out of this film, as they only come over here and work in bars. Yes. Anyhow, Steve continues. We skip then, after a brief voiceover from Bruce Wayne, John Connor. No, Quinn, some 20 years hence, where apparently you can't grow tomatoes for long without them being ignited into nothingness. But you can refine petrol/diesel to run vehicles, and, I assume, whatever powers the electric. We were introduced to Creedy, who seemingly serves no little purpose, at least until his death. We are told that the people are starving, that Quinn is having trouble maintaining his leadership in the face of this, and then we have our first real dragon sequence. The problem is, by this point, I simply didn't care. I wasn't invested in seeing how Quinn rose up to overthrow the machines, dragons. It's not that the film was too bleak. The dragons had risen, and through them and nuclear weapons, the world was a very bleak place. I'm not sure if enough time would have passed for the people to live above ground, and certainly not been able to grow food. Take a step back from the voiceover, I'm not entirely sure how the knowledge that the dragons were responsible for the end of the dinosaurs and the Ice Age came about. Was there a whistleblower in the dragon camp? Well, there was only one male, so possibly someone overheard the ladies gossiping, much like that Time magazine cover of the Empire State Building engulfed in flames with dragons flying all around it. I kept wondering, how did any of this make sense? Someone had time to photograph of all that happening. They had time to submit it. They even had time off to format, print, publish, and distribute it, and intentionally so. Yet, with all the advanced weaponry the human race had even then, we could not cull and contain. Well, we can't ripe up a bunch of bloody upstart Arabs in the Middle East, frankly, so. But we have pictures of them and video.
Yeah, and at least $161 million worth of one explosion.
If anything, social media's taught me one thing. Whatever happens, we'll not be able to deal with it, but we'll get it on our Facebook posts and lots of mobile phone camera footage.
Yeah. Shit will go down. No one will stop it, but by jingo, Instagram will know about it.
Absolutely. Anyhow, sorry, Steve continues. The plot point about how killing one and hundreds seem to spawn more made no fucking sense. This didn't seem like a relay. I get the impression that there were benched dragons just being told to be patient and their time would come. If there were hundreds being spawned for every one, then fucking hundreds would be there regardless whether you kill one or not. It would surely mean humanity wouldn't have lasted 20 months, never mind 2 decades. And this would also mean that the charisma void that is McConaughey's character of Van Zandt and his crew would have not managed to fly from the US to a rundown Manchester runway, especially when they would have to have flown over Ireland. That so much survived their crash landing, including a fucking chopper, was almost as dumb as Van Zandt's Mad Max reject looked. Where the fuck did he get his cigars from?
Yeah, I think there's cat turds. I do think...
Same place he got the fuel, man.
Cat turds.
Yep.
It's all about the cat turds.
Well, there wasn't
Big
many
shit.
smokers left, so, you know. Presumably they're only surviving Americans. There's a lot of tobacco shops there.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he stopped in Cuba on the way.
Anyhow, Steve continues. A dragon is killed, and this should be a big moment. And yes, while Van Zandt and his team have apparently killed many, you get the feeling it is a rarely seen, if ever seen, occurrence for Quinn and his people. Yet it fell flat. The inability to see much due to the smog was supposed to create tension, but it just lacked. There was no suspense, and when there was danger, it was to people you didn't care about. Even with Alex, as she hadn't been in the film that long. Hell, even Quinn, who was out running a dragon on a horse. And it just rambled a bit from there. We had a brief dust-up between our 2 male protagonists. What I was supposed to guess a father and son conflict that was so quickly resolved as to make it barely more than a spat. A massive loss of lives again that I couldn't give a shit about. And 1 male dragon attacked the camp, giving us Creedy's heroic death that he slams the door shut on Quinn and everyone else before becoming a deep-fried Mars bar, because he's Scottish. Get it? You're going for the casual racism there, Steve.
It seems
You're
to
going
be...
to be in blackface by the end of this email. I'm really worried now.
Yeah, just warm up your Al Jolson impression for the end of this pod. God.
So comes the final battle, by which point I'm genuinely rooting for the dragon. Van Zandt introduces the weapon that will kill the dragon while running to get into his position. Quinn drops his, despite it being holstered. Maybe if it had some kind of utility belt. Van Zandt fires his, doesn't kill the dragon, then sacrifices himself for reasons I'm still not clear on. I'm not even celebrating that McConaughey's character doesn't even make it to the end of the film. I've long hoped for humanity to burn, and the only emotion I'm feeling at this point is disappointment that it seems to be a less likely as each implausible second passes. Quinn finds his weapon and kills the dragon, yay. We cut to some time later, and apparently, while all the dragons have either died or disappeared, Quinn still hasn't found a razor or thought to ask to borrow someone else's. Some pointless dialogue of passing the torch, now Skynet isn't a threat, and finally the credits begin to roll. That is 2 hours of my life. I would do anything to get back, and had I not long sat through Fast 5, where they make out that Brian is still alive, then write him out. That's not a spoiler, by the way, and it's not important to the plot, double half of that movie. Yeah?
I don't know. Luckily, I don't know.
If you watch Fast 5, you can't complain about wasting your time watching Reign of Fire.
Fast anything.
The end. Next. Anyhow, he continued. Seriously, all I can ask, why have you done this to us? Why the fuck did I put myself through this? There was absolutely no redeeming quality to this film. Even the Star Wars bedtime story didn't raise a chuckle I remember giving it the first time. It's just a shame it was years before Quinn was warned about people like me. As Michael Caine tells him, I'm sure it was about how people felt watching this piece of shit, and some people just wanted to watch the world burn. Yeah, right. Cheers, guys, and until next time, peace out, monkey.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for that, Steve. Yeah, quite thorough.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did you put yourself through this? Well, there you go. Yeah, as I often say on the first initial description on the Blackdog podcast group, you know, you can't ask for your time back. There is no receipt. You know, just as simple as that. We put the films up there. If you choose to watch them, that's perfectly up to you. If you want to be involved, that's fine. But you can't complain afterwards. I didn't put the gun to you.
We make this very clear to you.
Yes, it is very, very clear that at the end of the day, the list is there if you wish to take part. If you wish to not take part, that is also fine. If you want to watch the film and then moan at me because I made you watch the film, I'm sorry. No, I ain't care. Nope, I don't care. So thank you for watching it and put yourself through that. And you fucking hate a cockney. Yeah, I mean that's you know, casual racism aside, I think as everything else is, I'm down with it. Why Van Sant kills the dragons with nothing really. In fact, I think Van Sant was just bullshitting. I think he just found a bunch of suicidal people in a helicopter and just thought and maybe he found a tooth.
Maybe he wasn't even American.
Man, maybe not. Maybe yeah.
When he died at the end, he went, "Oh bloody hell!"
Yeah, hey, bar fucking gum. You never believe it. I was lying all along. I can see me house from here. Oh dear. Right. Anyway, well, thank you very much for that, sir. And let's move on. So, Darren, who do you have next?
We have Doreen Kelly, or Keldor.
Keldor the Mighty.
Keldor the Mighty.
Okay.
And she writes, "Hello. My big question about this film is, how did the dragons manage to fly on those torn wings? A secondary question is, why was the ending hopeful? Given the American muscle man, Dragon Killer, went on about losing 3 of his men to kill 1 dragon and not knowing what the British were partying about. I don't understand why killing the big man in London was a big victory." Well, it's all to do with the fact that was the only dragon that was fertilizing the eggs, so creating more dragons. So there we go.
Let's not skip. Let's skip over the fact that there's like thousands upon thousands of dragons seen in that.
Shut up! That's why.
Okay. Keep going.
That's twice I pulled that card. Don't make me pull it a third time.
Oh, if you do it a third time, suddenly doesn't Candyman turn up?
Yeah, Tony Todd's like, "What do you want now?"
Jackie Paper turns up and kills the dragons.
Anyway, go on in.
I'd seen this one before, but given the reenacting of Star Wars was the only thing I remembered, I guess I didn't really have any of those rose-tinted specs to take off. Post-apocalyptic movies are generally not among my favourites, and this is no exception. It really was quite grey throughout. And when the castle/stronghold in which they had set up their village got attacked, it appeared it was only the children and a few caregivers who were saved. However, given that neither Anthony nor I are sure about this, I'd say the storytelling was found to be a bit lacking. Bye for now, Doreen / Keldor the Archangel.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, Keldor. Yeah, confusion is fine. You're allowed to be confused for this film.
Just as a little aside there, Jim, you made a slight slip up when you said apocalyptic. You said apocalyptic earlier on, so
I knew what I meant.
I'm having that. I'm stealing that.
The apocalyptic month.
Yeah,
nice.
But
I'm liking that.
Let's trademark it, right? Let's trademark it so that we can sell it off to a makeup company.
Yeah, that's right.
Could be a new line of. In fact, we could have Blackdog makeup. There you go. That could be our new cosmetic line, apocalyptic.
Yeah, especially you can have Lee Metcalf's putting up a shelf look, which basically covers you in head to foot in black mascara, looking like death.
Get the Metcalf look.
Yeah, exactly. Covered from head to foot in blood because you decided to put up a shelf. Yeah, I don't know. I think.
What colours would we have?
I was just
black, obviously.
Yeah.
There's black. Yeah. No, but we'd have to call them like special colour names, like I don't know, shit cover goggles, brown.
Yeah, rouge. Rouge tinted
Rose
specs.
Yeah, rouge tinted specs. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. From me, the arse brown.
Mystery Magnolia.
Yeah, Mystery Magnolia. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. See, I think we've got the start of something going on there.
We have.
Yeah.
Watch out, Maybelline. We're on you. We're snapping at your heels.
Nice.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, or maybe not.
In Darren Diamond's case, maybe it's wintergreen.
Ah, nice. Anyway, right. Well, thank you very much for that, Kildor. Yes, good feedback. And let's move on to my next one. And this one is it's Gary. Gary Madden. There you go. It's down the other down other end of ship. Down other end of ship, and it's Gary Madden, Mr. Spock from the USS Blackdog, and he writes, "Smells like a dead dragon. Greetings and various sundry black doggerel, and that sinister flying menace to mankind, Mr. Owl." Hey, he was a bit more on the ball there.
Mm-hmm. With the ashtrays. he's been at the butts now. Cigarette butts, that is. Anyway, well, I made it back from Arizona without getting dragged off a plane. I'm not saying staying on a plane was any more fun than being dragged away by strong-armed thugs, but it was a lot less dramatic, and I had great time with my new colleagues. And I'm now back from one blistered and burnt land to feedback on a movie about another. To me, Reign of Fire is a movie that suffers from a serious overdose of what the fuck? I mean, seriously, sure, it's a fantasy, but even a fantasy has to have some sense of logic, and that's where Reign of Fire falls down. If you're going to tell me that the modern world with its machine guns, tanks, missiles, jet fighters and nukes had been overrun by dragons, you can't expect me to accept that the hero is killing the king of dragons with nothing more than a crossbow and an exploding arrow. Unfortunately, the film is filled with this sort of dumb, and there's just a few things that got my inner rage monkey twitching. And he lists them like so. We open with a kid walking into a dangerous tunnelling operation. Nobody even blinks. Not only that, but when the kid goes down into the bottom of the mines, Dad's reaction is, "Hey, kid, there's a mysterious hole. Why didn't you climb in?" But seconds later, his reaction to a worker is, "Wait, you can't go in there. It's unsafe." Very true. Throughout the movie, we also see people getting gobbled up by dragons, but an equal number of times, Bale states that the dragons only eat ash. Well, which one is it? Then, next one. What is the bullshit with randomly giving stuff new names? If I recall correctly, Bale calls binoculars some bullshit Mad Max name when he's phoning in up to the watchtower. A little tip, if you've been alive for 20 years when the dragons came along, you don't forget the binoculars are called binoculars. In failing light, dragons can't focus. What the fuck? Really? Really? Do they have to change lenses or something? Matthew McConaughey mentions that his troops have blown up plenty of dragons. But for some reason, the best way to kill a dragon is to jump out of a helicopter with a net. After this doesn't work, it's never mentioned again. Well, I guess so much for the best way. Matthew McConaughey gets almost everyone in Bale's town killed and essentially comes back afterwards and says, "My bad." And that's fucking it? Bale's like, "No problem, bro. Could have happened to anyone." No, fucking killing. No, fuck off, you fucking fucks. One thing that got me through the movie was imagining Bale as Batman and McConaughey as Bane. Yes, if I'm honest, I could go a lifetime without seeing Christian Bale menaced by a flappy bat creature again, but hearing Bane's voice saying, "It is my territory. It is my territory, Batman," made the film more tolerable. It was interesting that, just like every Batman movie, we got innumerable flashbacks of Mum getting whacked. I only wonder if her name was Martha. I'll close with mentioning one thing I think that could have made this movie good. For the plot to work, it could have been set in 1917. That way, you've got no nukes, only biplanes with machine guns, and artillery that wouldn't be nimble enough to target a flying dragon. At least then, the idea of dragons overrunning a world would be plausible. As for the directing, the effects and all the other shit, well, as Bones would say, "I'm a science officer, not a Hollywood director." Live long and make your dragon omelette and to make dragon omelette, you've got to break a few eggs. Gary, Mr. Spock, Madden.
Actually, thanks for that, Gary. One thing that comes straight to mind: if the bull dragon woke up in the cross tunnel,
Waked up.
wanked up, wanked up. Well, He-Man. If the bull dragon wakes up, yeah,
Yep.
that's the only dragon, right?
It's
The first one.
Yeah.
Where do all the fucking females come from? If there's no eggs and nothing is generating the eggs, and that's the only dragon they wake up, where do all the other dragons come from?
Now, so I assumed that there was actually a nest that woken up.
Well, then, yeah, but then...
He had a harem down there.
But if that was the case, then that whole flashback of, it was many, many months before finally we accepted the truth. There were dragons in the sky. All these dragons would have all been coming out the same fucking hole. If it was a nest.
So if you've only just accepted it, that little, like months later, then what the fuck were those great big things flapping around up in they weren't fucking seagulls, mate.
No. Something coming barreling out in the middle of Tottenham Court Road, going, and flying off into the sky. Everyone's going to go, what was that? Maybe it was
they're
just
not
a
going to
bird.
go, fucking hipsters and their fucking...
Hoxton shovels.
Yeah, Hoxton shovels with wings on.
So it was a female dragon, in which case, where did the bull come from to fertilise the eggs that they didn't have fertilised? And if it was a male dragon, where did the female dragons come from? And if it was a nest, why did it take several months for everyone to come to the conclusion that there were dragons in the sky?
Oh, don't know.
I don't know. Given current world events, we're crediting humanity with too much intelligence, I think, frankly.
Well, that is very, very true, actually. You are absolutely, yeah.
On the dragon and vision and low light, I mean, I wear glasses and I have reactor-like glasses. And I can confirm that when your polarizing lenses change, you can end up temporarily blind in half-light where they're changing. So I just kind of assume that their eyes work like that, with polarizing filters.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, that they didn't make anything of that in the movie.
No. And
which is kind of like, well, that's your killer strategy, isn't it? You fight them at the twilight when their vision's poor, and then they clearly don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's attack them with magic hour. It's like, what?
It sounds like a section on fucking Heart FM. You're listening to the Magic Hour.
Yeah, Dragon Hunting Magic Hour, only on Heart. Yeah, here we are on Magic FM. I mean, just another reason why it was just complete and utter balls. Such rubbish. Anywho, thank you very much for that, Gary. And let's move on. So, Jim, who do you have next?
Let me see. Next, we have another of our science officers, Dr. Scum himself.
Greg Madden. Greg Madden? No, what am I talking about? Fred.
I was going to say, he's already been
Fred
on.
Lubno.
You know what? I'm having
You're having flashbacks.
I'm
now.
having flashbacks. Yeah, it's just Fred Lubno, isn't it? Of Lovecraftian Science. Lovecraftianscience.wordpress.com. Just there you go. Now.
Anyhow, Fred writes, Hello, Blackdog crew. Hope all is well. Reign of Fire is another one of those movies I watched when it first came out, and I have not seen it since. The first trailer for this movie made it look fantastic. I was very excited to see this movie and dragged my poor wife to see it. My one-word review summary from back then was disappointed. What's my review after seeing this film over 15 years later? Well, it can be a two-word summary. Still disappointed.
Nice.
The premise was interesting and had some promise. Dragons resetting the world's ecosystems every few million years by wiping out most of life on the planet and then having them pop up again in the early 21st century. What a great idea! Unfortunately, the execution of the movie itself was very disappointing. I found a video on YouTube that put all the dragon scenes together, and this almost 2-hour movie had 5 minutes of dragon time. While with movies like Jaws or Alien, such brief glimpses of the creature can help build tension and menace, in movies such as Godzilla 2014, it can be frustrating when you don't get enough creature time. For me, this is one of the problems with Reign of Fire. Another issue with Reign of Fire is, like many, I was hoping to see dragons battling helicopters, a full-out war between humans and dragons. Unfortunately, we don't get this. We get Christian Bale looking over some old articles and photographs of the war. I'm sure there were budgetary constraints, but to be blunt, the post-apocalyptic world was kind of boring. While the Star Wars sketch was cute, it obviously could not carry the whole movie. Bale and McConaughey display some overacting, but it was interesting how the end of the film somewhat mirrored the end of Jaws. 3 characters do battle with a large beast, and one of the characters was named Quinn.
Oh my God.
One dies, while 2 others survive.
See, there you go. That's it. See, Elton was right. Oh my God, I was blind all along.
I hadn't spotted that. It's like, ooh, yep.
Yeah. No, my word.
Anyhow, Fred continues. Finally, I know it's just a movie, but as a biologist, the idea of having a population having 1 male and all females is just ridiculous. A perfect way of ensuring a species is wiped out. Now, there are species, such as water fleas, that are composed of all females, and they can produce eggs of other females through parthenogenesis, a form of asexual reproduction. Males are only produced when environmental conditions turn, and there is a need for a mitotic, I'm killing that word, exchange of genetic material. Thus, if dragons were parthenogenic, I could then understand this mode of reproduction. However, there was no reference to asexual reproduction with dragons. Okay, I'll stop rambling now. Thank you, Blackdog, and bracing for next week's film. Fred, Dr. Scum, love now.
Yeah, he's starting to learn now. He stopped saying that he's looking forward to next week's film.
Yep.
he's slowly but surely getting into the actually I've made a foolish error. Anyway, well, thank you very much for that, Fred. Disappointed as always. As you should be. I would have been very disappointed if you had liked it, to be honest. I'm only joking. And again, he touched on the same thing I did. Was like, if you've got asexual reproduction or a creature that changes, a creature that relies on a single male, then you're going to actually have another male fill that void, and you still got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these fucking things licking ash off of windowsills and what have you. It's just like, why would they just fucking vanished? Why? They wouldn't have just vanished. Ugh. Anyway, don't worry. Just stop talking. Stop talking. Anyway, right. Thank you very much, Fred. Yes, good feedback. And like I said before, if you want to hear more of Fred and read more of his stuff, then go to lovecraftianscience.wordpress.com. Right. Okay. So, Darren, who do you have next?
We have Matt Jones.
Oh, is that Danger Matt or Matty Matt Marty Matt?
That's
Mark?
Matt Danger 75.
Ah, is it Return of the Matt?
Danger Matt.
Is it the Return of the Matt?
Could be.
Chat about.
Better shut the door.
See, I'm not letting him get away with it. He keeps calling himself Danger Matt, but it's just no. You got to accept it, my friend. You are Return of the Man.
I'm sure if we had time to do little theme tunes, we'd do one for him.
Oh, without a doubt.
Return of the Man.
Shepherdoo.
Sardines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Right, go on, carry on.
Okay, and he sends a mail titled Rain of Feedback.
Nice.
And he says, "Good evening, gents. I trust you all had a good Easter weekend, but it's back to business now with this week's not-so-epic Reign of Fire. A few Blackdoggers may have mistaken it, thinking the shit apocalypse season had come early with this film, but it does deserve to be thought of in such a negative light? Well, yes and no. Having only seen it once before, I remember very little, which is not a good sign from the off. It's a film more about survival of the human race than the big fuck-off dragons, which is why a lot of people were disappointed after seeing the film poster with loads of creatures flying around. There is a scene a bit towards the end of the film, but relatively little dragon action before that. The direction from X-Files stalwart Rob Bowman is decent enough, and McConaughey and Bale are pretty good in their lead roles. But the film does feel a bit flat at times, and the plot a bit thin. Sorry, I'll put my teeth in. So I'm surprised that I couldn't really find anything of note that the screenwriters had written. When the dragons do make an appearance, they look pretty impressive. So it's a shame the mid-range budget wasn't a bit higher so we could see more of them. I was a bit confused about how they were starving, though, when it stated that they eat ash. What a stupid plot point. Surely they could just burn more of the countryside and eat that. Well, you'd think so.
Yes.
Indeed. I haven't got more to say. It's not an awful film, and a little over 90 minutes doesn't outstay its welcome. It just comes across a bit meh. Oh well, we can now look forward to the up-and-coming Conservatory season. There are a few interesting choices there. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. I wouldn't look forward to the Conservatory season myself, but it's coming. It's next week, but
yep,
just no, don't look forward to it. What's wrong with you? Anyway, okay. Well, thank you very much. Not a bad. God, fine. Whatever.
Move on. Deal with it. Move on.
Yeah, move on. I mean, just. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you can't think of why your dragons work the way they're supposed to work, like eating ash, it's not just a stupid plot point. It undermines the entire fucking film. You can't have them do that and then suddenly go, they're eating their own, as they're sitting there watching dragons eat other dragons. It's like, no. They're just, that makes no sense. Yep. Nonsense. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Danger Matt. God dear, not Danger Matt. Don't do that to yourself, man. Just accept you're the return of the Matt. Matt.
Return of the Mickety Mac. Zip Zap Brack.
The Zip Zap Rap. No.
Careful, don't unleash that again.
Let's not do that. No, anyway.
Zippity dee bop boop boop ba dee.
Zip rip rap zippity zap zip zap rap zip zap. Oh, you got me now. I'm going to look for it
Tesco.
now. Zip zap rap. Oh God, the zip zap
rap. That's the way to finish a rap. Always on a random word.
What? Oh yeah.
Shamon.
Yeah.
Shamon, shadow whole wheat. I'm right. Hold on. Here we go.
Say no.
Just take a few seconds.
Say no. No. Say no.
Devastating Dave and his turntable slaves.
Say no.
I thought he was the turntable slave.
Oh yeah, sorry, Devastating Dave, the turntable slave.
Yes.
Here we go.
This is what I call the zip zap rap.
Really? No shit.
You're going to spend your whole check. Zip dip zap, a zip whip, a wabbit, a zip a dip a whip. You got a cocaine habit. Scooby Doo drop a zip blah blam. It started with a quarter, now it is a gram.
What the fuck is he on about? I still don't understand.
And also the
I think he was eating ash.
One side of the face going lopsided.
Yeah. Oh, Devastating Dave, the turntable slave. What the fuck? Anyway,
he has an egg bong. did he say?
I don't know. I thought he had an ape bone.
Seasonal.
Of course. Anyway, well, thank you very much, that Matt. Yeah, Danger is his middle name. Let's move on. So our my last written feedback is from Chris Oster. Chris Oster. There you go. And she writes, "Hello, Blackdog podcast. So, coming into this film, I knew from word of mouth how bad it was, and that the Star Wars part was the best memorable scene. I had never seen it before, and based on trusted advice, I would have skipped it, except I had a day off, and was already feeling a bit sick, and was being spoon-fed this film via YouTube, so I didn't really have any great excuse. After listening to last week's podcast on After Hours, which I sort of wish I had better luck tracking down a copy, I'm curious to see if it was something I would have enjoyed. I feel like it might have been people's description of it. In any case, here's this week's feedback. I disagree that the Star Wars reenactment was the best scene. It's number 2, though, no question. I would argue that the best scene title goes to that 1 4-second CG part with the dragon hovering in hover flight whilst it Bernadette's Matthew McConaughey's people on an adventure to London. That was pretty, and, on YouTube at least, looked fairly well done. It was also super short, and in this film, which was 2 hours too long, that was a blessing. The Star Wars scene, to be honest, was cute enough as a scene, but it didn't make me care for any of the characters, and way too little was given the general unlikability of everyone. I think after seeing this movie, it's safe to say that I really don't like Christian Bale. After taking a moment to look at the IMDb to see if I could find one Christian Bale film that I actively, enthusiastically enjoy, it is a resounding no. I really do not like Christian Bale. For the record, Velvet Goldmine was the last Bale movie that I enjoyed, and probably because of the music and fashion side of it, not because of not as a fan fiction of David Bowie's life. And then there's the sad matter of poor old Gerard Butler, who is far too good an actor for this film, and that's saying something since he has an IMDb full of regrettable career choices. This may not actually be his worst film, and that's saying a lot because this movie is awful. Like Bale, he's a perfectly fine actor, as is Matthew McConaughey, I'm sure. He just makes questionable choices. I suppose we all have to pay the rent somehow. And I really have nothing else to contribute on this one, except that this movie had way too many angry men huffing their chests at each other, trying to be the toughest alpha male in the frame at any given time. Nothing makes me dislike a movie more than an alpha male bullshit fest. So, yeah, I'm going to go tell myself that my 2 hours of wasted time isn't as bad as 3 months approximately that this film took to shoot. Anyways, that's it for this week. I'm super excited for Underworld, though. Okay, it seems I've got my more vampires wish, but at what price? Peace out until next time, Chris. Well, thank you very much for that, Chris. If you've not seen Underworld, you may be living in interesting times next week. But there you go. But, more vampires, that's what you wanted.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. Right, okay. Well, thank you very much for that, Chris, anyway. And, this film is fucking awful. So, cool. There you go. And, yeah, the whole macho bullshit thing, I mean, it was a bit pathetic, really. I mean, considering that everyone in it seems to be an utter incompetence, so what's the point in any of it? It's like, yes, look at me, I've got my dragon teeth. And I've also got 3 men who just jumped out of a helicopter to take on a winged beast. And now I'm very cross with all of you because you're very happy that we took down a winged beast. It's like, fuck off, you pillock.
Dude, it's your self-appointed job.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you wanted to go fucking running off up there. You put the idiot on a bike riding around in an open field to triangulate where a dragon was. I mean, it's like...
It's like having a fire and going, what? Fucking hell, I'm not going in there, it's on fire.
Yeah.
My friend got burned.
Couldn't they just...
You signed up for the fire.
Just look
What do you think of be water skiing in the Caribbean? Fucking tool. Clues in the title. Fireman. I'm a Marine. I don't want to go to war. Fuck you. Read your contract.
Yeah, you signed up for it, you twat. Yeah.
You could have stayed home and grown some tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to take the fight to them. I'm going to throw as many people out of that helicopter as it takes to wear that dragon down. And now I'm really upset because I found a flaw in my plan. Fucking hell. Sorry, Darren. What was your thing?
Sorry?
You were saying something. Sorry, mate. We sort of ran roughshod over you talking about water skiing and firefighters.
No, it was the thing about, the identifying the dragons, or triangulating them. It's like, couldn't you just look up? It's like, there it is. It's like that thing from Family Guy. And now over to Ollie for the weather. It's cold out.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Yeah. Oh, God. All right, then. Well,
it's a big fucker that looks like a kite. That one with claws and fire and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. How can we tell the difference between bulls and... Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to question it. Why?
Don't make me pull the card out again.
No, I won't. Oh, dear. Right, anyway. So, thank you very much for that, Chris. And, Jim, on to you, mate. Who's your last piece of written feedback from?
Well, anyone playing Science Officer Bingo, you've got a full house as we complete our trilogy.
Nice.
With a message from the fiendish Dr. Will.
Nice.
Subject line, Rain of Mist.
Okay.
I just want to say that when you ignore the promise of the posters, that this was a really good film on its own merit.
Oh.
I really want to say that, but I can't.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's still bad. It's got an incoherent and flimsy plot with way too many holes and was generally quite bad. Having said that, it's still fun, and I don't regret watching it. It has dragons in it, after all, and I was perfectly happy with how many there were. But I'm not going to argue it's any good. Fiendish Dr. Will.
Well, there you go. I think he places it firmly in his guilty pleasure box, I guess. I'm trying to dress it up in light, but he's not going to argue it's any good, but he's perfectly happy watching it. So,
well, that's kind of where I'm sort of at with it. It's not a good film. It should have been a far better film.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I like the dragons. I can't be bothered taking it any further. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I'll save my ire for things that deserve it.
Yeah,
Underworld.
Yeah, I was going to say, give it 7 days. We'll hear all about that, I'm sure. Anyway, I
had an embolism first time I watched that, but anyhow.
Nice. Right, okay, well now it's time. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Will. Thank you very much for your feedback. Thank you to everyone who's sent in written feedback so far. And now we move on to our MP3 feedback. And our first bit of MP3 feedback is from the belly stapler, Michael Cornett, and I think probably Voldar from Phobos's mining colony prison planet bit. And let's hear what they have to say about Rain of Fire.
Good evening, Black Doggers. Good evening to Lee, Darren, Jim, and Elton. This is Mike Cornett, the belly stapler, your man in Baltimore.
And this is Voldar, your man on Phobos.
And remember, the only thing worse than a dragon is an American.
And the only thing worse than an American is a Martian.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yep. We're coming at you tonight, this Thursday evening, because I'm going to be away this weekend.
Yeah, and I had to arrange my therapy appointment. My therapist, whose name is something like Dr. Blorch, says I'm making real improvement. He's really proud of me. Well, that's
good, Voldar.
Yeah, he offered to hug me, but I didn't take him up on it.
Why not?
You're forgetting, he's a fungus being. Hugging fungus is not fun. And I just get covered with spores.
Oh yeah, good point. Anyway, we both watched Rain of Fire.
Yeah, Rain of Fire.
Oh, God. What? I remember when this came out in theaters and people were going on about how this was like going to be the coolest thing ever. I looked at it and I thought, this looks pretty dumb. And I didn't bother going to see it. So watching this now is a mystery monocle for me.
Mystery monocle?
It's what we say on this podcast for you're watching something for the first time ever.
Oh, alright, that makes sense.
Yeah, like you guys were saying last week, it promised so much of dragons, but there were barely any.
Yeah, I mean, they keep talking about these dragons swarming the planet, destroying everything. And we only see like 2, 3. Shouldn't there have been all over the place?
Exactly, Voldar. It's just annoying, you know, and plus the fact is, it's such an incredibly silly, goofy premise. The hibernating dragons suddenly coming out and just swarming all over the place, killing everything. You know, why are they so fucking grim? This is just like, it's depressing. It's a depressing movie.
Yeah, I really felt that way too. It was just not fun, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they just passed up so many good opportunities for embracing their own cheesiness, and they never do. And most of it is just all like people arguing with each other, and you know, oh, it's so awful, we're in the apocalypse, la la la. Like, who fucking cares?
Well, apocalypses are bad. I mean, we had one on Mars.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
But yeah, I understand it's tough to watch. It's depressing.
So what was the apocalypse on Mars, Voldar?
Well, when Droppo became Santa, Martians all went crazy for Christmas, and there was this boom in industrialization and manufacturing. Everyone was buying and wasting everything and all that, and it just crashed the environment.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's why I don't like Christmas.
I understand now. Okay then, maybe your conquering Earth wouldn't be such a bad thing.
It won't.
You heard it. They advertise Alice Krieg in the main credits. You know, she's like advertised as one of the stars, and she barely lasts 10 minutes into the movie before she's killed. Only has like a couple of lines, and her role just doesn't matter at all. I mean, why bother?
Yeah, that was weird.
Who knows, Voldar? Who knows? And then you have like 3 beefcake stars with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey and Gerard Butler, and you don't have them comparing abs at all. I mean, come on, folks. This was a chance to do something really goofy and silly and fun, and you mussed it up.
And I mean, why have all these people arguing when they could have just been making friends like those guys were in that last week?
Okay, no, Voldar. No, we don't bring that up yet.
Oh, okay. No, it's
okay, Voldar. It's just that wasn't quite what people wanted from that movie.
Oh.
But anyway, it's kind of a dumb movie, and took itself way too seriously, and looking up information, I'm kind of glad it flopped. It just didn't deserve to do well. It really should have been much more dragons and much more silly, much more aware of its own silliness than it was.
I agree.
Oh, well, we're on the same page then.
We're cut from the same cloth, like you said last week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's going to be it for now, I think, but next week is Underworld.
Is that a movie about people in caves?
No. I'll tell you about that. Well, you're in for a surprise.
Oh, alright.
You want to do it this week, Voldar?
Yes, I'd like that. Alright. Okay, this is Voldar and Mike signing off. Have a good week, people. And mwah. Bye.
Right, thank you very much for that, Voldar and Mike. I feel like there's some psychological progression going on there. He's there, you know. There's an alignment. I think he'll be let out in about 30, 40 years. It's starting to bother me though that Voldar's starting to sound more like Buffalo Bill. from Silence of the Lambs, but yeah, probably don't explain that to him, Mike. That's probably a good idea. And if you want to,
dangerous.
Yeah, it could be dangerous. And if you want to hear more of Michael, not necessarily Voldar, then you can look at his blog, which is dustandcorruption.blogspot.com. Yeah, it's kind of the other end of the spectrum to Chris's feedback. You know, going from the alpha males being silly to why aren't they comparing abs and just make the film really silly? Yeah, I suppose you could do that. I mean, it is that whole point of this film. It either needs to go ludicrous and big or go home, and it just doesn't bother. It's just cheap and shit and nasty and not nearly as cool as everyone thinks it should have been. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure Voldo will love Underworld next week. That's going to be great. Well, anyway, thank you very much for that, guys. I've got nothing to disagree with on that feedback. It's a stupid film, and it deserved to die, and it did. So, yeah, hurrah! I don't think you're getting many people disagree with you. So, now it's time to move on to our next bit of feedback, and now we have Murray the Pieman Christensen, and let's hear what he thought of Reign of Fire.
Hello, Blackdoggers. Murray the Pieman here to talk about Reign of Fire. So I was trying to give this film a fair crack of the whip because, as you kind of discussed in the last cast, the film really missold itself with the poster. I saw that poster too and thought, dragons fighting Apache gunships? Come and take my money. Now, as it happened through circumstances beyond my control, I eventually didn't see this until it actually turned up on telly. And I'm glad because I was told quite early on that it was missold on the poster. Now, I was still disappointed when I saw it because I thought, well, how missold? I mean, you've got gunships, you've got London on fire, and you've got dragons fighting them. They wouldn't put that in a poster and not put that in the film, but yeah, they would. Yep, there wasn't a gunship helicopter to be seen. How disappointing. So I was trying to watch this without the agitation of being missold in the poster, and the problem the film has is that it spends quite a lot of time showing you hints and sort of teases of the better film that we didn't get. So we obviously have the beginning of young Christian Bale going into that hole and meeting the dragon and that sort of thing, and having it climb past him as they're trying to get up the shaft for the tunnelling they were doing. I'm guessing it's Crossrail. But then, of course, it cuts to 20 years later, and it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But we do get snippets of, Paris burning, and dragons everywhere, and his sort of history-telling of yes, and they did all this. So we effectively get the really good film described in words. It's kind of like the equivalent of War of the Worlds being, look, the aliens have landed, and then cutting to, they all got the cold and died. Bye. So I was trying to look at this as a bit of post-apocalyptic fiction, except the apocalypse was caused by dragons. And in that, it doesn't really work either. There were some intriguing things. I quite liked the community they had. I liked the idea that they kind of picked up the prayer. I thought that worked quite well. What do we do when we wake? 2 eyes in the sky, that sort of thing, and you dig deep. And indeed, I'd have liked to see more of humanity burrowing. But again, they keep dropping these hints of better, more exciting things happening, like when his friend talks about the rogue marines, and you're like, that almost going 28 days later with this. You got the threat of dragons plus all these, and the settlement being destroyed by the dragon when they went to try and hunt it down in London. All these things that we see that are better than ultimately what we get, which is a rather slow film. A lot of grey and brown of Christian Bale moping about a post-apocalyptic Northumbria, is it? And then a bunch of Americans come in. Most of them die quite stupidly, and I mean, that really bugged me when they we're going to go and hunt this thing in its lair, and he said, no, it'll track you back. It's going to be bad, and it'll kill us as well. And they go to get it, and he's saying, oh right, it's coming places, and I thought, that's a good idea. It's a fire-breathing dragon. Don't sit in a big line, all in a big bunch, because that's just where flames will get you. But no, instead, they all sit in a big lump. They don't split apart, go and hide. No, they just sit in a big row with all the headlights on. The dragon, sure enough, comes and torches all of them. I didn't like, I can't even remember the actor's name, but the American guy, he just seemed, I know he was meant to be like your Captain Ahab madman, but a tedious character. I quite liked. I liked hearing Julian Bashir of Deep Space Nine say "wanker," so that was something. But I just didn't get on with this. I just didn't think it. I don't think the people who made it knew what it was. I almost think they made that poster up, and that's what they were going for. And then someone came up with this different idea, and there were maybe 3 different people trying to make 3 different films, and we kind of get this sort of just meandering mess as a result. The upshot is it's only an hour and a half long, so it doesn't really outstay its welcome, and the dragons are quite well realised when you see them on screen for the most part, but you just don't see much. There's not many dragons in it. there's not much in the way. Well, there's no gunship helicopters. I'd like to point that out again. And yeah, it's not even particularly good at being post-apocalyptic. So overall, just not really great. Sadly. But hopefully I'll watch the next film if it's any better. And all it remains for me to say is do keep up the good work. It's always an enjoyable podcast, and I hope to feedback on other ones. Until then, bye for now.
Vindication! Yes! See? Matthew McConaughey and his fucking elite team all sit in a fucking row! Murray sees it! It's true! This man is a fraud, not Murray. Matthew McConaughey, he's a fraud. He found that fucking tooth in a gift shop.
Christmas cracker. What was it? Cornflakes packet.
I picked this up in a
Poundland.
Yeah, customs. Actually, it's a stick of rock from Brighton, and I just sucked it down till it looks like a tooth. Anyway, so thank you very much for that, Murray. Yes, thank you very much for the kind words and the feedback and agreeing with me on how shit this film is. Brilliant. You get the 3 points. Kudos. Yes, right. Well, that's it, really. Let's move on to the last bit of MP3 feedback, and it is Drew and Tracy. Let's hear what they thought of Reign of Fire.
Hello, Groovy Gang.
Yes.
So we've just watched Reign of
Fire. We did, yes.
I want to keep saying Reign of Terror, actually, for some stupid reason, but no.
Yeah.
Reign of Fire.
Yeah.
And what do you think of that then?
I didn't mind it, actually. I was getting prepared for really hating on this movie because I think that's been primed by everyone talking about it. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I think Elton was talking about in the last Blackdog podcast about how he saw it on More 4 or whatever. I think that's when we watched it. I remember watching it together years ago on telly. Didn't think much of it.
Well, I'm glad you kind of said that, because my opening gambit for this was, what a load of cock bollocks. Because this was just fucking awful.
Actually, I was getting prepared to say that, but I didn't think it was that bad.
No, it was.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, it was.
Okay. Well, should we go through some points then?
Go on then.
Right, my first point is, and I'm sure it will be mentioned, so the combined armies of the world cannot kill the dragons, but some ragtag Mad Max kind of guys can, and can just end it all.
Define ragtag.
Well, Matthew pumped up McConaughey.
Yeah, Mad Max style.
Can just kill the dragons.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But all the scientists in the world and all the armies of the world cannot work out that there's one male and that, and just kill the male, and then that sorts it.
Well, exactly, but the thing is, this is a film about dragons. Dragons ain't real. You can do what the fuck you like with dragons. Cause
I understand you need to put a bit of suspension of disbelief. I know, but you still need to have a logical
you need a system.
kind of framework there, so that you can believe what's going on in the film. Anyhow, next point.
Yeah, I just thought it was a bit of a Mad Max element.
Definitely.
Quite a lot of this film.
Well, it's like apocalyptic thing, isn't it?
But it was nice to see Bashir from Deep Space Nine in this. I did go for quite 5 minutes, but that was good.
I think another problem with this film, though, which I think will get a lot of people, and it did me, is 50% of it was in darkness and shouting. It's really hard to tell what was going on. It was just black screen, shouting. I don't know what's going on.
Well, for me, you're right, shouting. Like most films where it's about the world's gone to cock, it's not about people working together. Because when the tanks rolled up, we're are they going to work together? No, they're just going to try and take what they've already had.
Things about them,
it's about who's got the biggest balls and who's going to rule the roost, isn't it? And it's just we've seen this too many times.
Yeah.
But then this was 2002, so we've not seen this for such a long time.
Yeah.
So they go to London,
Yep.
right, and they're hiding in the trenches, if you like.
Yep.
And there's about 15 dragons flying about.
Yep.
Blah,
all
blah,
over
blah.
Tower Bridge and whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, Tower Bridge had fallen, mate. And then you see the bull, because they went to kill the bull dragon, didn't they?
Yes, right. Yeah, the male one. Yeah.
And you have that action, and then all of a sudden, there's no dragons.
Yeah.
So what is that about?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A woman dragon would have a bit of a fucking arse going on there. Hang on a minute,
so.
You've killed my sex source.
I didn't really get
right?
because they said that
I'm
the male
going to kill you.
The male fertilise the eggs and
Yeah.
so obviously it's the end of the line, but there's still going to be plenty of eggs hatching out.
Well,
No,
exactly.
I didn't really get the.
But all the other female dragons, they're still like need feeding. They still
Given the
need to survive,
yeah.
don't they? So where have they gone?
I don't know.
Oh, it just got a bit daft in the end, didn't it? I didn't like it.
I'm not saying I liked it, but I am saying it wasn't as bad as I was thinking. No, I didn't mind it. It's all right. It'd be like a 5 out of 10 film for me.
This was not a film for me.
Yep. Well, let's leave it there then.
Yep. All right, let's leave it there.
Okay.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
When you're a dragon and the world's gone to cock, you need to ride your sex horse. Thank you very much for that, Drew and Tracy. Yeah, I don't know about the sort of how randy dragons get and how mardy they get if their sex horse has gone for a Burton. But yeah, your point still stands. You know, if there's only if the old sex horse. I love that phrase. If he goes down, then you still have a bunch of female dragons with the right hump. I just wow, brilliant. Well, I think next time anyone watches Reign of Fire, I think it's going to be it should be just called My Lovely Sex Horse. Drew and Fiendish Dr. Will going to be sitting there watching it, sitting there watching it on their own, saying it's not a good film, not a bad one. Well, it is a bad one, but it's not that bad.
That's all right then. Oh, steady on.
Sorry, excuse me. That was my lungs coming out. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Thank you to everyone who's fed back this week. Thank you to all our feedbackers, MP3 feedbackers, written feedbackers, and everything. Yes, it's been good. And now it's time to tell you, before we go, what our next film will be. Well, I think one or two of our feedbackers have dropped the hint already. But just in case you missed it, we're starting a Conservatory season next week, which is basically
one of our better ideas, I think.
Definitely. Whereby we look at actors who have previously been reasonably well regarded and have in the interim decided that buying a conservatory is a lot better than artistic integrity. And so we are going to start off this season with Bill Nighy's very palatial conservatory earner. I think he got the full works. I think he got underfloor heating, don't you think? I mean,
the lot. He got blinds and everything.
Yeah, I think so. I think he got some solar panels on top, some nice,
Probably some of those heaters for the patio.
That's it. Nice rug. Got some wicker furniture to go with that fucker. And that is because he was in the movie Underworld. AKA Len Wiseman wants everyone to look at his wife's arse in leather. And his wife is Kate Beckinsale, playing a vampire. So, Darren, have you seen this film? Bong. Bong. Darren.
Yeah. I'm here.
Hello, mate.
What the fuck was that?
Oh, don't worry. You just missed like 30 minutes of Jim's Wolf impressions.
Oh, right.
While we've been talking about Underworld.
Underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, have you seen Underworld?
Yes.
And what did you think of it?
I thought my face reflected nicely in the shiny part of her costume. Thank you very much.
Which, yeah, okay, fair enough. No other thoughts than that.
Bit of a mess, really. That's what I thought coming away from it. It's like, oh, this sounds quite interesting. This, I'll have a watch. And it's just, there's a lot of promise there. They could have done a lot with it, but it's just, it's a mess.
And what do you think? What sort of conservatory do you think Bill Nighy actually earned in this film?
What did he earn? I think he earned one that gave him an awful lot of shade, seeing as he's playing a vampire. Yeah. So, yeah.
Plenty of blinds.
Plenty of blinds, yes.
Nice. Okie dokie, fair enough. Are you looking forward to seeing this film next week?
More wary of seeing this film next week.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. All right then. And Jim, what about you?
Yes, I have seen this film again.
The weary side that follows that. Okay, and what did you think of it last time?
I thought it was bollocks.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. Well, I won't ask if you're looking forward to seeing it again.
Well, I'm sure history will have been really kind to it.
I'm sure it will. Yeah.
All that nice, CGI effects aren't going to look dated and horrible.
No. I think
because they didn't look dated and horrible when it came out, did they?
No. Those American Werewolf in Paris style effects that were reused for this.
The kind of the software can't handle fur. Hey, werewolves are bald now.
Yay!
Christ almighty.
With maybe some random twigs on the shoulders. Lovely. Oh God, it's Michael Sheen earns a Conservatory. This is a double whammy.
Oh God, it is. Yeah,
I forgot he was in it. Oh.
So did he? I bet.
Oh, I know what kind of conservatory he's got.
Go on.
He's got one made of sweets or rice paper for when he goes around chewing the scenery.
Nice.
So there we go.
Yeah. Something made out of like those UFOs with the sherbet dip in it.
Yep.
Nice. Okie dokie. Well, I've seen this film once. That felt like once too many times. And I'll be honest with you, vampire movies in general don't do it for me. And so when it goes into vampire gothic romance with werewolves, it just feels like fan wank. And then I just completely switch off. And the fact that Len Wiseman seems to be obsessed with showing his wife's bum just makes it even worse. Kate Beckinsale does look nice in leather, but it's interesting that that's the most memorable thing in the entire film, and that should tell you pretty much all it is, really. It's something that I think Paul W.S. Anderson turned down because he was a bit too busy. It wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, if you want to send in feedback for Underworld, do send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or leave it on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog Podcast, or leave it with the Twitter account, which is @BlackDogPodcast.
Or leave it written on the flaming bag of shit that you'll probably put outside Lee's door.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, thanks for that. So, before we go, Jim, do you want to tout your wares, sir?
Yes, you can hear me on my own podcast, the Hypnagoria podcast, and this week I'm taking a look back at a favourite tome from childhood, the Beaver Book of Horror.
Nice. Well, there you go, and I've got it queued up. I haven't heard it yet, so I'm after Easter. I'm still catching up with all the podcasts that sort of came out that I didn't listen to going to work on Friday. Well, I'll look forward to listening to that myself. And do pay a visit to Hypnagoria. Do go and visit Elton's podcast, which is the Shonky Lab, which me and Hal Curtis are talking about fantasy film cars and TV trucks. That was quite an interesting one. And go over to shonkylab.com or Rogue 2 Media. I think, that should do it. Right. Well, that's it. And now it's time to wrap it all up. Say thank you very much again for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren.
No problem.
And thank you, all your feedbackers. And we shall see you next week for Underworld. So until then, keep smiling. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Ta-da!
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bollocks to it.